Can y'all hear me? Yeah, music's set from the interview settings from last week, so my apologies. Okay. I am so sorry for the delayed start. I had some serious technical issues where one of the stream platforms, it was a roulette of which one, it wasn't telling me, was having trouble, and it usually it says, hey, this platform isn't linking or having an issue connecting. So I had to go through and just one by one disconnect them and relink them. And then it wasn't working still, so I closed Streamlabs and like restarted my computer, and it worked. Like rebooted everything. So one of my platforms isn't linked currently, which is Twitter. For some reason, I was having trouble relinking it, so it may have been the issue. It could have been any one of the platforms, though, so it's hard to say. Most likely that one, though. So as it stands right now, we were heckin' delayed because one of the multi-stream platforms was having trouble connecting, wasn't telling me which one, and I had to go through and basically one at a time unlink them from Streamlabs and relink them, which is a very arduous process. Takes up to 5 minutes per platform sometimes. Anyway, we're good. For most of them, though, it's only about a half a minute. Anyway, I am back, and I'm really sorry for the delay. How was everyone's weekend? Eric, how are you doing, my friend? We got Atlam, we got Rev, we've got Inani. How was y'all's weekend? I'm good, thank you. I'm a little frazzled because of the stream stuff. It wasn't working Saturday, like it kept crashing, and now this. I'm wondering if they're linked somehow. I'm gonna do some research on both Steam and Twitter, because obviously our Twitter isn't relinked, but our sorry. But the Steam we managed to get working again, so it could have, I don't know. It was leaning towards a couple different platforms being the problem, but I'm glad it's all sorted now. Had a near TPK yesterday, but they managed to pull it out. Dang. How near of a TPK would you say? You don't see me yet? Yeah, that's fine. I was just doing some fixing on my end. My stuff over here, I had to make sure it was all working again as I restarted my computer. So most everything was down again. Forget. Dang, that's scary. Was this one person a cleric, I'm assuming? Chronomancer is a pretty good one. Like, they have, I mean, arguably, maybe even better than divination in some situations, especially as they get higher in level. Some of divination's like milestone level ups are somewhat mild. Oh, that's cool too. I mean, Khan's really good as a wizard because you can, also continue concentrating on spells. So, welcome back, everyone, to Mapmaker Monday. Sorry for the delayed start. As I said, I was having some tech issues. Streamlabs was not connecting to all the platforms. Here, let me show you all the kind of message I was getting. this is what I was getting when I was trying to connect. Oop, zoomed in way too far. And it was like, okay, one of the destinations might have incomplete permissions. Reconnect the destinations and settings and try again. Thank you for telling me which destination. That's really helpful. You know? So I had to figure that out. It was a little frustrating. So essentially, one at a time, unlinked the platforms and relinked them, and then restarted my computer. You have experienced the error. The error is that there is an error. And kill Spock. Jeez. Spock only wants to live long and prosper. Something went wrong. Try again later. Honestly, that's kind of crazy though, hearing about it. Like, the wizard tends to be the one that's like got the most versatility for all scenarios, and then a wizard with tons of HP is even better, right? Like, it sounds silly, Eric, but like, I have also kind of planned, and I'm not saying the party is heading that way, but if there is like an almost TPK and I'm the sole survivor, I actually have a way to bring back the party. Take me a few days, but I'd be able to, or a couple of days. Yeah, that's the hope, right? So last week on Mapmaker Monday, we continued work on the Last Drop Souvenir and General Store, which is a kind of the last shop for hundreds of miles in any direction. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere next to an oasis, small, bit of life in the middle of a desert. This shop has stables. It's going to have a general store, which we kind of started working on, and then an inn and tavern at the top with just a few rooms. It's essentially kind of a jack of all trades shop in the middle of nowhere where people can get a little bit of rest and supplies before they head on either direction in the desert. I'm thinking of putting a few like campsites over here too, where people can rent campsites too. So this person's very like opportunistic, and they're trying to get money any way they can. They offer mail service. They have stables. They have, the general store, which has actually souvenirs in it, is what I plan to do, as well as, useful items and then a few magical trinkets. Man, I wish I had pocket sand. In a previous game I played in, I had some homebrewed pocket sand that I got, and it was so fun. It had some shenanigans in the way it was worded, so I kind of would have fun with it. So you could like throw it in people's eyes and they have to make a check or they're blinded, right? And it was a bonus action, so I got to use it a lot. And then also the sand, you could pull it out and just throw it endlessly and then it would stay there. So like I had a pocket dimension and I filled it with sand in my downtime, just like endlessly, and made like a massive pile of sand. Pocket sand, shisha. Anyway, my plan isn't to be necromancer, actually. No, to keep the party alive. That would be funny. I actually don't have like that kind of spell at all at my disposal. Well, I guess is it okay? Wait, what is the kind of level 3 necromancer spell where you can make some skelly boys or zombie boys? Animate dead, that's the one. See, I don't really ever use that spell, so I don't know it. My Mrs. Mac has that on her spell list as a cleric. She is a Twilight cleric, so she has that on her spell list and has used it a few times. Hey, Bremen, welcome back. But I don't have that in my spell list. Unless that spell is one action, then I can potentially use it. Because I have the Cartomancer feat, so I could prepare it as my Cartomancer card, technically. But if it's like a bonus action or like takes a minute to cast, then no. See, yeah, I can't use it that way unless I learn it, of course. Which I could. But no, so I do have the spell Gentle Repose learned, right? So I took the time to learn that spell because I like learning all the ritual spells. So Gentle Repose is a good way to sort of prevent your player, your party from degrading further than they already have, right? And so I took the time to make a bunch of Gentle Repose scrolls in my downtime. So essentially, if for some reason the entire party is downed and I survive and manage to clutch the situation, you know, I would immediately turn around and Gentle Repose the whole party and then use Cartomancer on my first long rest to take the Revivify spell into my Cartomancer card. And then I would use that on our cleric who has Revivify and Revivify like scrolls and Diamond Dust or whatever, Diamondillium that they need. So essentially, once I get the cleric up, we'd get everyone back up, you know, until they run out of spell slots. What happened to you, Imperator Morsus? Man, that new cartographer path is pretty cool. It's interesting. And then you'll be doing the community a favor, right? Just repping. So this is our stable area, getting back to the mapping, right? Oh, tech support, gotcha. Yeah, tech support stuff, like, I get it. I do a lot of tech support for our community, if you don't believe it. But also I've done it in the past in different jobs. Like I used to work at Geek Squad in my youth for about 5 years. I worked there. And then I also did computer sales at Best Buy. So I did a lot of tech support in both of those roles. And then for a number of years, I actually was like a consultant, small business consultant for many different small businesses. And I would help them kind of like modernize their technology and their business, streamline it, and get better at utilizing it if they didn't have much of it, you know. And you know, get them used to things like digital, you know, transaction systems, upgraded phone systems, maybe get them a website or you know, upgrade their filing systems, any number of things. Get them on social media. I did all sorts of stuff. So for a number of years, that was kind of my gig. But I have spent countless years doing tech support for people, and I have heard all sorts of things that make me laugh, like tons. Like one time I had a person come in and they demanded a DVD rewinder. I like this little sign here. I'm gonna put some like maybe like a horseshoe or something that says stables. Yes, I was waiting for someone to question that line of thought for a moment. So they demanded a DVD rewinder. We're insistent upon it. We told them that while, you know, VCR VHS rewinders exist, we even sold them at the time still. We don't have, you know, DVD rewinders. They were trying to tell them this and explain this to them. The elderly lady was insistent she leave with a DVD rewinder. And like I calmly explained it to her that the DVD player doesn't need that. It automatically rewinds every time you finish watching the movie. And by the time I said that to her, she was like, "It does?" Basically had to explain it to her in like a language that she would understand. And, you know, she was like very happy. But you would get some people that were really indignant sometimes and digging their heels, you know? I had someone come in and demand Espen printer cartridges. So that's Epson. Epson is a brand, right? Printer cartridges. You know, we would have little things like that happen all the time at Best Buy, dozens of times a day, because you would have to decipher what your customer wanted and, you know, try and lead them to that because they don't always understand what they want or know what they need, even when it comes to electronics, especially, man, like people that were my parents and older didn't understand electronics more often than not. That's not saying all people that age are that way. There's plenty that do understand it quite well. I'm just saying that there's a larger percentage in those age groups. What are your export settings, John? Let's start there, my man. Is there anything else I should add to these stables before we move on? I've been talking about that and I just wanted to think about it. I was going to say the DPI you export at, or if you're exporting it as like an animated video. But yeah, at 200 by 200, you're probably going to want to stick to 72 DPI. Especially if you plan to run it through like a virtual tabletop. I'm going to look for another horseshoe, but I want it to be like this way. That'll work. Hey, dude. That's a very big map. Are you exporting it as a video or just a picture? A video that large, you would want to leave it overnight with nothing else running, like nothing. If you have anything, like think of it this way, when it's a video, you're doing like essentially 30 frames of what is way beyond like 12K video. 200 by 200 is insane resolution, right? So it's making a custom resolution video and it's going through every inch of this map frame by frame, which it's 30 frames per second it has to render. It'll likely take hours for a map that size if it's video. For an image, I'd imagine it could take up to a couple of hours depending on how intense the map was. Like, is it very basic or do you have like lots of animations on it? What was the error it gave? Did it say that it's frozen and to wait, or like what did it give you? Should I do like a kind of silverish? That one looks pretty good. I kind of like the silverish horseshoe. Though we could do one that's like kind of gold or whatever. What? Where'd it go? What? One of those things you cannot grab for the life of you. Uh-oh. Yep, I messed it up. My goodness. Get out here. I'm gonna shrink it a bit. Ooh. No, no matter what, it'll be on the next floor if it's that small. So tell me more about this map, John. What is the map of? What is it? It's so it's a big village. Got it. So something like that. I mean, you may want to break it up into like 4 quadrants, 4 50 by 50 maps. So you can actually load that map in DA and then resize it down to a single corner, like a 50 by 50 section, right? And then take that, save as that map, quadrant 1, do the same thing, reopen the main map, save to quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. Let me show you what I mean. So you're looking at your map from like a top down. You could essentially, if I have a 40 by 40, I could reduce it down to say a 20 by 20 and then save as, this corner. Now, this might not be ideal in this situation because it cuts a building in half. But in your case, you could try and find a split that might work for you. But yeah, 200 by 200 is quite large. For like online play. Because you're a 200 by 200 map, you could definitely split seed it up. So just keep in mind, if you break a house in half or something, you may have to go through and edit the exterior to remove the walls or move some buildings around to kind of fit within that, 50 by 50. That would probably be the best option, I think, though, my man. John, I'm sorry. I wish I had a better option for you. But yeah, when it comes to strictly online play, massive maps become troublesome due to the limitations of virtual tabletops. I really like the horseshoe there. I think that looks good. I want another sign up here that's like the general store sign. By the way, I saw the suggestion for a room for the owner. I'm thinking now I might even make the balcony upstairs the owner's room. So it's like their little private loft. So I'll just have like a ladder that goes up. So instead of like a balcony, we can make this their private room. And I could even have like a staircase or something or a ladder going up here to it. So yeah, you need to kind of look into the limitations of like the virtual tabletop you're working with, right? And then you got some math to do based on each, export setting that you use, whether it's 72 DPI versus 300 DPI. That's almost 6 times the file size difference and like adds that many more pixels to the map, right? So the resolution scales exponentially. By the way, it's good to have you back, John. Hope you've been well. Okay, so we've got all these stables set up. I think in here I've got a good amount of stuff. We've got, a shovel and some barrels and with some water, and here we could even put another bucket under the barrel. Something sitting like that. Ooh, an owl. I like it. Let's find us an owl. That's a good suggestion because my player character's pet is an owl. Baby owl bear. I can't really see what this one looks like. Here, let me download it. But honestly, John, I think that's probably the best approach. You may have to break it up into some, like one side might be 40 by 40, and you know what I mean? And so, or 60, and one side 60 by 50. Here, let's see what the owl does. He looks armless. What I'll do is I'll grab a nest. We'll use the stock nest. Put it up on this little banister right there. Perched up in here. So we got some. Oh my goodness. So one of our like salesperson was like, we should just sell her a DVD player and tell it is a DVD rewinder. And I was like, man, come on. She's just, don't take advantage of an old lady. What if this was your grandma or something, man? Like, come on. So yeah, like I kind of had to talk some sense into people, and we like explained it to her as calmly as possible. Okay, so I feel like the stables are pretty good, though I kind of want to like maybe add like a bit of hay here and there strewn about. She was just an elderly lady who didn't understand what she was needing. She was used to rewinding VHS tapes forever and just didn't understand, you know? You know what? I think I'll just move this out here. So it's like they're getting ready to put some stuff into a stable, right? That looks good. I mean, honestly, for like years, they said, please be kind and rewind, right? She was just like doing what she knew. Yeah. Okay. I'm feeling pretty good about this. Yeah, they're pretty nice, aren't they? We could also even just put a little bit of hay in there still, like near out the edges. Watch. You can grab one of these and just like, oh, we're gonna do change floor tile here and there. So like one in the corner there, like it came out a little bit. They blend really nice on their edges. Some of the tiles blend really well. Oh, what am I looking for? First off, gonna save because I haven't in a minute. So, do y'all think my plan of gentle reposing the party, essentially putting them on ice, is an interesting idea? So, I mean, ideally as soon as possible. But the thing is we have a portable hole, so I could general repose the entire party and then put them in the portable hole and then evacuate to somewhere safe, right? Wait, what? No, my portable hole is not full of water. Not currently. The only thing that's in my portable hole at the moment is a granite stone safe that is 3.5 feet cubed. It weighs like 3.5 tons. You know what? I'm going to remove those because I don't want them like all over. Anyway, what I might do though is kind of blend some of this and add a little bit of darker to it. Yes, like near the edge there. Correct, Bane. Correct. Bane sees what I'm talking about. It just makes it easier for someone like me, like a halfling, to move them. You know what I mean? So if their body isn't whole, I got to figure that out, right? If their body is whole, really just got to revivify them. And I can do the most important person in the party to get this rolling would be the cleric, because then the cleric can then turn around and revivify others. So it would just save time, because I can only do it once per long rest. Because I don't really technically know the spell. If I gentle repose them in the first minute after combat, yeah. Yes. If they're revivified very quickly, or I mean, if they're gentle reposed very quickly, it was like they were never dead that long. You can raise dead is more ideal, but if you gentle repose them, like say immediately as combat ends, let's say I'm the last man standing, right? Then I would immediately turn around and gentle repose the whole party. So essentially they're on ice. They no longer, hey Moore, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. Is it President's Day? Dang. Honestly, though, I think I've done my research here and I'm correct. Technically, if I do it quick enough, if I don't do it as a ritual, if it's cast as a spell slot or as like a scroll, because they're an action, I could cast it 6 times or 5 times in rapid succession before the time has been up for the Revivify to kick in, because I think Revivify is like 1 minute after death, which if they died in combat, technically every round is only 6 seconds, so I have 10 rounds technically from the time the first person dies to end everything and then revivify, or you know, whatever. That being said, I don't care if I'm wrong, I want to know too. I think I'm going to carve like a little area here to put a path. Bam! Oh, how much or two, no wonder. Uh-oh. Yeah, to be honest though, I think like if you look at the way the writing is, right? Revivify essentially says you have to do it within a certain amount of time, right? Under certain conditions. And gentle repose suspends that time. So as long as they were gentle reposed in under that minute's time, I think it technically holds true. Really bothers me that these are there, like on this lower level, but this is not. Irritated. Even at that height, it's not, so no point. Okay, let's start adding like some shelving. I've been thinking of how to organize this. Why am I, whenever I always look, it's like not that. Oh, it's because it's this. I'm thinking these types of shelves, right? Is we could put them in like aisles, kind of like this. Shrink it down a little bit. I don't know. I might mix and match some wonky ones in there, but I wanted this area to surprisingly look the nicest. You know what I mean? Oh, nice. More nice. By the way, I was able to get some confirmation on my schedule, so I was going to reach out to you today. So I'll ping you later. Let's see here. So yeah, I think I'm going to use those same shelves I was using originally. What I'm going to do is shrink it to about this size, though. So you can walk around it. I mean, if we don't get around to it this next month, there's always the month after. It sounds like it's a popular concept, so I'm glad it's doing well. If it doesn't work out, you know what I mean, like this next month. And I appreciate you being patient with me while I've been trying to figure everything out, because honestly, like, it's been completely different than what I'm used to. You know what? I think I'm going to put these on the wall. Might be able to fit 3 of them. Yas. Yas. Is that too tight? Here, let's look at the spacing there. Yeah, I'm not liking that. To be honest, man, I've been mostly involved in just kind of in the approval process and providing content and stuff. So who knows? I haven't really seen a whole lot of the numbers aspect of it yet. Yeah, I like that spacing a little bit more. What do y'all think? We could talk about it though. I'll tell you what I do know for sure when we have a call or something. Just a lot of it was done above my pay grade. So you use the bottom, the feet here, to tell how they're lined up. Okay. So what I think is I'll have the outward shelf on the outside edge, and then it'll be kind of like a corner here with these couple rows of them, maybe a corner shelf here where it goes like an L. I don't want the doors to be able to hit the shelf or like someone walking in to destroy something. Got to think logistically too, you know? We could take a shelf and do something like this too on the end. I have a meeting with them upcoming, and I plan to talk with them about it then. Sorry, man. I wanted to like actually discuss it with them in person. I feel like it would be better. You know what I mean? Than the alternative. Wondering if I could just kind of mesh these in. Sticking out that side just a little. Almost. Looks good. Nah, actually, we'll do it on this side. Or on the next row. Either way, we'll figure it out. So what I did is I was in top down when I placed the shelf, and I tried to line it up along the left of the line here. Which ideally is, you know, about as close as they can be to each other. And I'm going to just drop them in from top down, and then I go realign them from their angled side. Honestly, that too. I appreciate the offer though, man, and it's just something I don't have the authority to like be like, yes. So essentially I want to drop the idea to them and explain it to them and then see what they say. What do y'all think? That looks pretty good. This would be like a lot of general goods, right? Maybe some like adventure gear and stuff like that. To be honest with you too, I have had better luck explaining things like this to the devs in person than, you know what I mean? Like better success. This is like the general goods section. I think I might even put another shelf going like this way here, like a smaller one, like a half size. But I like what we've got here. Honestly, that's the thing. Like I've pitched a lot of ideas to the devs over the years, and some went across well, others not so much. So I want to like, and I think usually when we're having an in person, like over the like when we see each other having a voice call, usually goes over a lot better. There's a lot of stuff that can be lost in text, like context and whatnot. Ooh, I like that. Really like that. Okay. So Yeah, I will definitely add some lighting in here for sure to help with that. Let's look at these. Some wall shelves. Just going to delete that one and copy this one. I'd even put like a table back here or something. We'll see. You would do that? So evil, Mondu. Gave me the same variant twice. A whole lot of variation here, is there? Take that one and then put in my own stuff. Trying to kind of like figure out the layout here. So this will be like the general goods. Yeah, that's really the only difference is one extra book. Book. So I have like tan bag of tricks is what it is, right? And I've been we just got to use it for the first time in our campaign. Dang, part of me does want to make this the counter. Because it just looks so ramshackle. Or one of these. Anyway, so in our last session, I was able to pull out an animal from the bag, and I pulled out a black bear, and I pretended it was like Pokemon. So when it came out, it was like I just said, the bear exclaims, "Bear!" Granted, the bear didn't survive long. He died relatively quick. But he took a bunch of hits for the party. That's what really matters here. Uh-oh, got a magic book there. Trying to look and see if there's a cupboard I want to add to the shop. One of these looks nice. Doesn't seem to generate many colors outside of the brown, huh? Look at a few different display cases. One with books also looks nice. That looks pretty neat. I think I'm going to stack this shelf on top of this one. Right? I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put the souvenir shop, like the souvenir part. Because I want like some magical items, some books and documents and stuff, but then over here will be like food and gear, equipment. And then somewhere in here will be like souvenirs. Jeez, Moose. You have some teeth in here. There we go. Let's do a jar of teeth on top shelf. Yeah, let's try and keep the chat to family friendly, y'all. Remember, Dungeon Alchemist is a family friendly product. We want to make this environment safe and fun for all ages. I know we kind of have some jokes sometimes and stuff, but just remember, let's try and keep the chat viable for, dungeon masters of all ages. Okay? Just picking a random color every time I get to one. Let's do green. Let's do black. Make this one look different than the one next to it. Robert, you're funny. Let's do yellow. We've got tinctures and potions of all shapes and sizes. Alrighty. But yeah, when the bear came out, when I threw the bear out, he said bear. Every time he attacked, he said bear. And then when he died, he yelled bear. Well, it was me RPing the bear saying those things and doing those things. So, yeah. Bear. Yep. Mac ketchup. I want to add some scrolls to this area. Look, put a pile of them in here somewhere like that. Up. Scrolls. Maybe. Also wanted to put a skull on here. Like a gold skull. Or maybe a regular old... Oh, that one's the cackling skull. Nah, we don't want that one up there. He sinks into the ceiling. Let's put that one. Let's see here. The other thing I might put in is like a crystal ball. I want to add a few like random magic items kind of in the mix. Maybe even pull out some of these books and put in some magic items, like an amulet or something. Hey, Leggy Master, welcome to the live stream. Appreciate you. I saw you followed us a few days ago. Thank you for that. I'm glad you're enjoying the VODs. I'm glad you're here live too, because you can take advantage of, you know, having a resource available to you. If you have any questions during the stream, you can, you know, ask me anything Dungeon Alchemist related, and I will try to provide you real-time live assistance or guidance. But glad you're able to catch us today. I'm going to put one of these on this shelf so it just kind of looks like extra fancy potion. By the way, my name is Mac. It's a pleasure to meet you. Let's go just look at magic items, because it'd probably be easier to just look here. We already put a bag of teeth. Let's... Definitely want to add some of these boots somewhere in the shop. I guess we could just leave them somewhere for now, and then we'll put them up. We get a second. Mr. Mac's neighborhood, right? Honestly, being compared to Mr. Rogers is pretty dope. Is it Raya? Welcome to the stream. Nice to meet you. In regards to your question, so they asked, any idea if Dungeon Alchemist is thinking of adding more terrain textures or making them not map mode limited? Yes, and yes. Ultimately, I think we plan to overhaul and like redo our terrain and texture system. Most likely allowing all textures on, every biome. It's just the biome you're in, the textures specific to it will likely be front and center at the top. So it's easier to kind of distinguish them. We also plan to add more things like weather and whatnot. But yeah, more terrain textures and making them more versatile is on the menu. Currently, they're not optional. It's like not an option to do because the more terrain textures we add to any biome, they start becoming very, very problematic in like how they load and how they run for the vast majority of our community. So we kind of put limits in certain biomes based on our internal testing to prevent those issues. We understand it's frustrating when a biome doesn't have a specific paint that you're looking for. Remember, you can always skip to another biome that has the paints you're looking for and change, say, the flora of the environment. Say if you don't want it to be like say you want sand, which is available in only a couple biomes, and you want to make like an island, you can very easily do so using like the grasslands biome and then painting some jungle terrain or something like that. Either way, it's possible to do, but it isn't as straightforward as just generating the environment. Anyway, I appreciate your question, and we do plan to address it with time. I don't really have an ETA for that, just at some point. Keep in mind, we're still under early access right now, and there's a lot of work to be done to, bring Dungeon Alchemist up to a full release status. Let's see, do we have any other questions? Doesn't look like any came through, so we'll just wait a bit. So what were you trying to make? If you want to let me know, I can maybe come up with a temporary solution for you. Yeah, I know there are. I just put it out as a visual reminder for me to do something with it in a bit. I might actually make like a couple potion things too. Hey, Guafo, welcome back. How you been? Probably change these to different looking potions. Boots. Uh-oh. Gosh, I hate these. When you grab them, they jump around. I'm going to leave them over here so it's like a visual reminder that I'm going to do something with them in a bit. And see, that's the thing when it comes to like seaside, there's a lot of different seaside terrain, right? Some people think, oh, I only want sand. Other people want that rocky, kind of craggy, environment. Ultimately, though, you can do a seaside environment in any biome. So you just pick the biome that has the paints you like the most and then use that. If you're looking for something more rocky, the forest biome or possibly grasslands, typically better. They've been throttling your upload. Really? That's crazy. how did you figure out they were doing it, and how did you get it fixed? Start packing these in with like goods. I also like taking these like simple chests every once in a while, right? Because you can shrink them down and then just put them under the bottom of something. It's like a crate or something underneath. Pretty neat. Oh, nose itching. Who's thinking about me? No, I likely breathed in a cat fur. So Legumaster asks or says Steam Workshop has a lot of cool maps. Sadly, some of them are considered legacy and won't allow the use of levels. Is there any way to convert those maps? Thanks. There is not. So legacy maps were basically this last major update that we did in July called Fun with Objects Part 1. Added multi-level and roofing, which was something we didn't plan on adding to Dungeon Alchemist when we had initially like had our Kickstarter and our initial like rollout, but it was so heavily demanded by our community, we opted to integrate that feature. Unfortunately, it was so much change at the ground level of Dungeon Alchemist that older maps will not be able to take advantage of this feature, you know, the way it generates rooms on top of each other at multi-level really seamlessly. You can still build multi-level in old maps, but it's done by hand. You essentially have to disable object collisions and then use like the structural objects such as the freestanding walls to build up multiple levels. There's hundreds of examples of legacy maps that have multi-level in them, either using, you know, freestanding walls or even just standalone prefab houses. That being said, it's not as easy or as straightforward, I will be honest. Takes a lot of by hand placement. Legacy maps, they're just a sad, unfortunate reality. They do get access to a lot of other new features like abstract lighting, and, you know, access to Steam Workshop assets and whatnot. But unfortunately, multi-level just had so many changes at its core that we opted to make a separate layer of mapping called Legacy. So we didn't delete all the workshop maps, which at that point was around 10,000 maps. So they're still available. You can still use them. You can make changes to them. You can add a lot of new features to them, just not multi-level. So if you see that lock in the corner over here, let me save this map and I'll show you a Legacy map. Pretty much any map that was like older is considered a legacy map. But like this one here has multi-level, but it was done by hand. So I'll show you a legacy map that has that. So Guafa, it had like an auto administrator type thing on your modem, and it was auto limiting your own internet. That's frustrating as all. So this map is a legacy map, as you can see here with the lock. But I built this to support multi-level kind of very cleverly using lots of objects. Essentially, each layer is like a large object with tons of objects on it, so you can grab one and just pull it apart. I did this so you could kind of pull it apart like a dollhouse and see inside. These walls even are objects. They're freestanding, like round walls. But this was before we offered room generation that could be round. So technically, your first floor could be a round room with like a door and windows. And then, you know, you could even add objects above if you wanted to. But yeah, roofing will just, and multi-level will never be added to legacy maps. It's the first time in our entire development that we had to, unfortunately, not offer full backwards compatibility. That is weird. I might need to reach out to my ISP and ask them that too, because I've been having all sorts of issues lately where my stream will crash prematurely or have some problem of some sort. So honestly, if you could find old footage of it, that'd be great. A lot of the old VODs are gone now. But yeah, like for a long time, the devs said they're not going to do multi-level, and then they like announced it, you know, randomly about 2 years ago that they were going to try and make it work, and they did. It was quite impressive. Let's, I think I'm going to add like some food and drink here. Can add like, yeah, some cheese. Hate when I reload a map and my preferences that I was in it before aren't saved, like collisions. Or maybe it was on when I left last. Can't remember now. We can do some eggs, but I'll put them in like a basket. Basket. I like that one. So I'm gonna have some produce on this shelf here, right? I shouldn't do what, Robert? I'm gonna put the basket on the ground and then put the eggs in the basket. Why aren't y'all rotating anymore? Oh, you're funny. You know what? You really shouldn't, but I don't know why this isn't like rising to the top all of a sudden. I just want a limited amount of produce right here, right? Just a few things that are like, oh, you probably want to grab this before you hit out, you know, on the endless void of the desert. We could add like some bags, right? So it looks just like food, some sort. Flour, water skins. We'll add those more in the items to the side here. Wait, isn't there a variant of these that's like, they got rid of it, huh? There used to be a variant that had a vertical flour bag on it. Something like this. But yeah, we're going to put a lot of dry goods here. This is like basically simple goods that are like you're going to want to have. Maybe some quick perishables, some pouches of things, you know. Ooh, barrels of foods might be nice. But we can add things like this around the shop too, right? Like general goods. Only took you about 9 hours. You know what? That is amazing. Let's see. I think I want some like potatoes. I'm thinking of putting them in a barrel here. I'm going to like move these, right? And then I'll have a barrel. We'll grab. Man, who was it that was really smart and made an image that looked like potatoes? And then they just put it on top of it, like a round image. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? They made like an abstract image of potatoes and put it on top of the barrel. If I recall, it is in community assets somewhere. Just a moment looking for him. I'm going to have to go back a while to find it. Give me a minute. Hmm. You know what? I'm just going to find something simple. This is perfect. But this is a cool thing to learn. So we have these objects called abstracts, right? You can essentially place them all over and you can insert custom images into them. In this case, I'm going to cleverly insert an image of potatoes. Oops. Hey, where did it save to? This one, I just saved it here. Darn it. Oh, I know why. Darn it. It's not working. Give me a minute. This is frustrating, but I'm going to have to open up Photoshop and just save the image as a separate file because the JPEG is not working. Stand by. Essentially, I'm just going to open the image. Here, I might as well show you what I'm doing. You have Photoshop, you can learn. I'm going to go to Open. I'm going to find the image, which I put in abstracts, saved as a WebP. And then I'm going to just file save a copy, right? And just save it. Oh, no, I don't want to save it as a WebP. I made the mistake of saving it again as the same type. So here you change the type of file to like a JPEG. Done. Close it. Now I select that copy of the image, which should be here. Where is it? So confused. There it is. Nope, I see it. So now this was a basic image I just found online. It's not perfect. Yep, I see it. You're right. But now we have like a simple, bin of potatoes. Granted, I could find some that match the art style a little bit better, but I think this is adequate. I think I'm going to put some bread on here. I like to think this guy might haggle a bit too. Like people come and go and he gets all sorts of goods. Snowshoes. That's a good idea. Like, why would anyone buy those in the desert? But it seems like a random thing that would be here. You need them for the dunes, actually. Random mining equipment, like all sorts of random stuff is what I want in this shop. Some rope. Yeah, I'll probably have like a trash can or something. But yeah, it is also unrealized potential sales. Like he'll go down and pilfer through it and find things to sell. You know what I mean? That would seem like so legitimate and normal for him. What's going on with Steam? A box of dynamite in the back, no worries. No, I might keep those by him. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, that's plenty of times that's happened. Like a lot of times people thought they could bring everything in the kitchen sink with them and they just could not. You know, it just simply was not viable to bring all your own home goods. Unfortunately, you can sort by creator, but you can't search by creator. One thing I can recommend you can do for now, though, to kind of combat that as a person who uploads maps to the workshop, right? When you upload a map to the workshop, put your name in the description, your username. So you could put created by in it somewhere, and then when someone searches your name, that's a searchable term now for your map. So some creators now actually put their name in it. But like if you're looking at a map, right? Like if you look at the map, you could see who created it, random ladybird, right? And then you can sort their shop and like, oh, you can sort by maps. You can set to 30 per listing, or you can sort by assets. So technically on Steam, yes, you can in fact look at the creator by name, but you have to find them first, which is the pain. But as because of the way Steam works, it's very smart of you to put your username in the description somewhere, not in the title, but in the description of the map. Anything you can put in the description is smart, because with time, it'll essentially make that more searchable and findable. Think of them like search engine optimization terms. The more things you have in your description, the more likely it is to be found. But yeah, like I would very much like to be able to search by creator. And I think the devs will add more search options with time. Like they plan to add an option to see which maps are, like at a glance you can tell if they are an older map, like one of the old maps that doesn't support multi-level. There may be an option to eventually click on the user and see all their like all of their uploads and stuff like that. The workshop UI has gotten improvements over time, and I think with time it'll get more and more. One thing I'd love to see in the map browser is collections. So you could see map collections as well. We only have that in the asset browser right now. But you, Guafa, go back to any of your old maps, right? Any of your old ones, you can open them, like any maps you've made in the past. You can open that map, right? But if you do this, right, it says, basically, if you open your published map from this list, then you can make an edit to it. A little extra option shows up in here. Instead of publish, it'll say update published map. So if you open it from the workshop, you can make edits to it, and then you can update the like text for it as well when you go to like republish it or update the published info. You can also do that through Steam. So Steam makes it a little bit easier. Like here, let me go to, sorry. If you go to Steam, right, you go to your library, click on Dungeon Alchemist, then click on the workshop tab. You can see here it says, it'll show your image instead of mine. And then you can click files you've posted. So you could find any map you want, right? And then just update, edit the title and description here. So you could simply just go, see, that easy. Through Steam, it's a lot easier than doing it through DA. I would really only do it through DA if you need to make changes to the map. And basically, the only way to update a published map with changes is to open it directly through Steam. If you try to open it from your local save and make changes, you'll have to upload a separate version of it, which means anyone who's subscribed to it won't likely see it. So you want to update the existing one, yeah. You know, I might. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll add it while I'm here. Anyway, something like that. But this way you can update the text without making tons of crazy adjustments. You can even add more images if you want. I'm sorry, what? Jack, what's going on? Interesting. You know, Robert, that's an interesting concept, like a locked damn file that the creator can lock it so it can't be opened and only they can unlock it. You know, one way to prevent people from editing it is just not sharing it. Like if you don't share it with the greater community, you can even put maps on the workshop and set them to 100% private. So they're just a cloud backup of your work and that's it. That's one way, right, to get around it. The others is I've seen creators hide little assets and things in their works, like watermarks, that prove it was theirs. So if it ever comes down to it, they can very easily prove it. Sack will hide several instances of his username in the maps, and Highland Lass puts a watermark in the the overlay level that says, hey, this is her work. You know, things like that. Private maps you cannot link and share to friends, but you can set them to friends only, so only your friends can see them. So when you upload a map and share it to the workshop, you could set it to public, private, or friends only. That's an interesting suggestion, Mondu. You should add that on the feature base. Sorry, about to set up Vody. Let's keep working on this. I need to just keep adding goods. So I'm going to focus on the food until it's all done. Let's add some drink. We can add some... Ooh, these tea bags might be a nice thing to add. Put them on this side or something. Little wine rack at the top. I'll move those eggs if we need to. Oh, this is a wall mountable? Darn. I was really hoping I could shrink it down. I guess I could just put one of these up there. Or one of those, huh? Darn it. I didn't want too much food because it's like hard for me to get like fresh goods in, you know, I'd imagine. Ooh, some nuts. Those are dry goods that, you know, won't necessarily... Why do we have two walnuts that are like identical is the real question. Okay. Guess I could just put some of this like nutmeg there, and it's like a thing of nuts. It's like its own thing. Yeah, I'm gonna put these on a lower shelf. Need to start filling in these other spaces. Even put the bread over here and put more cheese. Even another loaf of bread. Here's the thing. I think of this as like, this is a rest stop in the middle of nowhere. Like if you're on a highway traveling in a car and it's like the rest stop that's like, this is the only place to get gas for hundreds of miles. You need to stop there, right? But so it's a watering hole, campgrounds, it's an inn. There's going to be a tavern at the top, right? Or like in this level here with an inn so people can rest. But there's also a place to stable your horses, your animals out of the sun, give them some rest, get some goods before you traverse on the next leg of your journey through this mesa, through these badlands, which I'm going to have a road kind of go around this and head out this way. So it'll follow along, and it's like a pit stop that a lot of people stop at. So this is like the last stop for hundreds of miles in any direction. So a lot of people, essentially because this watering hole was here, people would traverse here, water their animals, fill up their good, you know, their water bladders, barrels, whatever, and then head on. But this guy set up a shop here to take advantage of that. That's a good idea, Guafa. That's a really good idea for adding stuff into the shop. So I'm trying to add all sorts of random things that he thought people might want, but he also trades stuff too. So people will trade goods. They're like, hey, I have a bunch of eggs. They're not going to survive me my travel across. Do you want them? So people might buy them and use them for their own things. Canteen is a good idea. Put some of those, like, I'm trying to think of which goods go where, so I'm just putting random things on random shelves until I decide, hey, that'll go there later. Some wine. Ooh, like kettles and stuff. Yeah, we could put one of those over here. Gonna fill this up with other things, just kind of getting an idea of what to put where. Cool. What other dry goods should I put up here? I guess I could put like one of those spice things, right? Like one of these. Just some random spice. Bucket o' meat. That one's just got salt in it. Oh, that one's the meat one, right? Oh, it's just got salt in it too. Potatoes we do have in this. How about some meat? Some sausages and stuff. I think some meat would fit in here. Water skins we're going to definitely have for sure. I'm going to put those by the canteens. So when we do the canteen section, we'll add that. Ooh, we could do some like bay leaves. Put them in next to the... I like just grabbing things that are already done, so I don't need to do a ton of decorating. Yeah, they do. You're right. I definitely want plates and stuff in the section next to it. That'll be like kind of like right here. We'll put one of those water bags over here so we have one out just in case for later. Probably should have some wine, and I was trying to figure out where to put it. I think I was just going to put a little shelf next to this. We can have like this barrel here, right? Tuck this little wine shelf in there. Need a different cheese. We'll do a blue cheese next to it. Maybe a cut wheel on top of this one for Pac-Man. Hmm. Think some lemons or oranges, some citrus, like to help prevent scurvy and stuff. But I feel like that would be in a barrel as well. I'll think more on this and what I'm going to put on here. Probably just more of the same. I'm going to leave this here because I want to put it somewhere in the shop. Thinking like up here or something. Isn't there like an egg on a stand? That one. Eliza doll, nowhere. She does not exist in my map. Just kidding. We also have one other hat we can put up. That one. Oh, a few. Let's shrink these down and put a few more. Actually, that one's more like a mining cap. We can put some armor on one of these too. Let's do that one in the corner here. I like that. Keeps yelling Gryffindor. We don't know what that means. You're funny. Sausages. There's even the ones that like hang. Probably grab one of those and put it up somewhere, like a shank of meat just hanging up somewhere. Yes, you know what? Yeah, we have all sorts of jars. We can act like they're canned goods. That's a great suggestion. I'm gonna put another random sausage sitting here. I like hanging stuff out off the shelves just a little bit. So in top down, they're kind of visible. But if you do it too high on the top levels, then they lap everything else. So the top levels, you can kind of pull them back a bit. It's like you can kind of see, oh, there's some stuff on these other shelves. Yeah, I agree. We should have, we do have some preservatives. Not like perfect, but. And then there's different things inside. So if you look at it carefully, right? Here, let's just make the jar larger. There's different options for all these different things that can be preserved inside. So technically, you kind of do have a whole bunch of options. Just wish you could change the top. I'm going to put a few of these up there. We'll just add them into the shelves in different spots. You can use abstracts. Yeah, abstracts are, I think, the best way to block rooms because you just put a block of whatever, like a dark abstract over the top of it. Does that make sense? Put something green in these. Oops. We'll put this last style of cheese here just to kind of flesh it out. I like how this is kind of developing, though. Technically, you can make kind of 3D abstracts. It's possible. Put some bacon right here, like a big chunk of it. Baguettes. I want to make sure nothing's peeking through on that side. Okay, we've got some preserves. Even added a honey pot there, a random item, but it's fun. What else can we add in here? Maybe just another thing of meat. But yeah, I want to keep filling this up with items. those items will be over in these, right? We'll start filling them. Yeah, there'll be like one's a mining shelf and one's like a hiking thing, or you know what I mean? One's like things you need for survival, and another one's like armor and weapons and stuff. You know what I mean? So it'll be like filled up with all things. At the moment, yeah, we're focusing on foodstuffs. So things that can go here, right? That look like either they're long-term stored. I guess we could just look at jars. We can just put some like generic like jars and stuff like that. Like some of these here look good, these bottles. Kind of large, so we got to shrink them down a little bit. I actually like the one that had the label better. Too far out. Just put a few of these in there. Canopic jars. Well, so this is the general store portion that'll have like anything you need for like, you know, food or travel or adventuring. And then over here we have some magic items. I actually might move the magic items to this corner and then make this the souvenir shop, or this will be like a little souvenir spot. But there'll be like wizarding equipment and supply stuff you need, like spellcasting items, if we can fit them in there. Just a lot of little random things, right? Oh, gotcha. Yeah, it is a little silly, actually, if you think about it. Here, we can put one of these little snake oil jars in there. Oh, there's that one thing. What is it? Parcel? It's like something you find in a shop and it's like wrapped up with string. It's like a little bag. Looks like food. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? It's a brown paper package tied up with string, exactly. It's like this. Yes. That little thing right there. Put that right by the bacon, right? That implies that this is just some of the bacon wrapped up, maybe. Yep, it's packaged. You're right. Take one of these crates, drink it, put it under there. Put that bacon on top of that? No. I could put a crate of pumpkins down here. And like random produce. All right. I think we did a pretty good job of filling this all up, right? Looks like just a bunch of like random things you might find like in like a small general store. Your character would buy it. Schmetzy, that's great. That's hilarious. Love it. Shrink down these wine things a little bit. So we've got, you know, some dry goods. There's like, oh, meats that are like salted and good to go. We've got some spices, some nuts, some eggs, some, you know, cheeses, different produce and stuff. So it's like if anyone's heading out, they might be able to grab something. By the way, welcome to the stream and thank you for the follow. I believe yesterday you dropped us a follow. Much appreciated. Cloth. I think I'm going to put some cloth. Ooh, yeah, we need some bedrolls eventually. I'm going to drop a bedroll over here by the adventuring gear. We'll just leave it there for now. But I'm thinking like a bolt of cloth. Like just some fabric on this. Then we can put like a regular bolt of fabric on the lower one or like some sewing equipment. Oh, nice. Well, welcome to the DAM fam, as we like to call it. When you save a map in Dungeon Alchemist, it's saved as our proprietary file format, .dam, which stands for Dungeon Alchemist Map. But we like to call our community either the Dam Nation or the Dam Fam. People kind of fall into two factions. We let you choose which one you want to be in. So you could be either part of the Dam Fam or the Dam Nation. Gamer Docs, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. Welcome. Welcome to the Dam Fam / Dam Nation. Let us know what you're thinking. Damaroonies. Forgetting about the Damily. Yeah, we have so many different factions, I forget. The Damily is another one. When you're here, you're Damily. Damnation. Yeah, that one's a pretty good one. Cool. We got some shoes. Need to save. It's about time to wrap up. In fact, it is time to wrap up. Sadly. It's okay, though. Just means more time. Well, that just means we put a heck of a lot of build time in today. Where did those shoes go? We're going over here for now. Thinking of putting another cloak on the end of this. It's like a generic one. Like this one here. It's like an end cap. Get even closer, huh? Okay. So, unfortunately, we have to wrap up the stream, but we got a lot of progress in the general store today. Kind of mapped out at least where like most of the generic items will be. And then we've got, you know, some potions and some like behind the counter items, magic items, that, or I might move this to this corner and then make this the the sort of souvenir spot with all the like kind of random junk. Once we finish the shop, we'll be moving upstairs where we're going to add a tavern and an inn. And then lastly will be the owner's room up here at the top. How do I quickly navigate between item presets? You mean the pre-configured, like pre-decorated ones, right? Is that what you're asking? So let's say you grab something like one of these tables that has a bunch of stuff on it, like this, or even one item. If you hit tab before you finalize the location, it'll shuffle through all the pre-configured options for that. So if you see an item, a shelf, a table, anything that has stuff on it, if you hit tab, it'll shuffle through the pre-configured options for it. So that is called a variant, is what we call it internally. Variants, we do this because when you generate a room or like an area, right, you want a lot of diversity. Let's say there's a lot of the same type of table or shelf in that room. It'll shuffle between those options to make it look more diverse and different. But it also is something you can take advantage of if you're building by hand. Any option, any place that's pre-decorated like this, you just press tab before you place it. So once you finalized it with left click, you can't shuffle it anymore. By the way, all over Dungeon Alchemist are little like hotkey tooltips. Excuse me, I got a hiccup. So with that in mind, for instance, in the object menu, in the bottom left, it says shift to place multiple objects or control to toggle snap to grid. So like if you're placing an object, if you press shift while you place the object, it'll automatically duplicate it. Saves you a ton of time if you're trying to put out a massive amount of objects, but kind of with some control. If you hold control while placing an object, right? Let's say this, it will toggle snap to grid. So if it already is snapping, you hold control, it'll disable snapping. If it doesn't snap, it'll give it a snap. So it helps you place objects with some degree of precision, if you will. You also have like ways to quickly place objects in the object menu called the paint objects tool. So you can essentially either erase objects en masse or, brush objects en masse, or you can create a brush from any object in the game or in Dungeon Alchemist, just select it, right? And then go to the object menu and then click create brush from selected object. So you can essentially turn any object into a brush, but notice there's a hotkey for erasing objects, Control-Shift-X. There's hotkeys in a lot of different areas: undo, redo, copy object properties, paste object properties, delete all objects, which is where we're at. Saving has a hotkey. There's hotkeys all over. Hiding the grid is Alt-G. So the hotkeys are really nice because you can quickly zip around Dungeon Alchemist once you've learned them. Like any tool or video game, once you get familiar with a lot of the hotkeys, you're a lot quicker and more fluid through the application. Like anytime you have a gripe, just ask me or drop a thread in our Discord. Our Discord's 24 hours a day, so you can put up a support or a question thread in our question or support forum and get your answers there. But if the stream's live, you can always come in and ask me directly and get support. Alternatively, if you ping us on social media or Reddit or wherever, we'll drop in and give you some support there as well. But yeah, if there's a lot of things that are in Dungeon Alchemist that people don't realize, and it's kind of our fault, mainly because we're in early access, so we keep adding new features. We do advertise them when they come out heavily through demonstration videos, streams, etc. But those videos often get buried and are lost and aren't shared again. So we are actually starting this week. Actually, we're going to start posting older tips and tutorial content again to refamiliarize older, members of our community, but also let new members of our community know about these features. And I'll also be sharing like new tips and trick videos for new things as they come out as well. So, but like there's lots of aspects of Dungeon Alchemist people don't even realize. Like this here, the collision toggle, this is like the most powerful setting in Dungeon Alchemist. When you disable collisions, objects before the collisions were on, you can't really do much with them. You can kind of rotate them and maybe size them up to a certain point where they hit a limit, right? When you have collisions off, you can scale them far beyond or below that limit. You can raise objects up and down, and you can merge them together to make like new and unique objects. So essentially, you can kit bash when you disable collisions. Yes, Schmetzi. So if you have the ability to design, 3D models, whether it's in sculpting an STL or you can make an OBJ, FBX, etc. Actually, I think you'd have to convert the OBJ into one of these 3 files. So STL, FBX, or GLTF/GLB. But we support full animated assets, full color assets, or just simple flat, STL assets. But we have a tool called the Asset Importer, and it's supplemented by the Steam Workshop with the Asset Browser. So you can, here, let me save one more time just to make sure I'm all saved. You can import assets, custom assets, which people in our community have shared hundreds of assets. You can either keep them for your own local personal use, or you can publish them to the workshop where other people can use them. So like I needed like a fun custom round roof with a hole in it for an observatory, like a wizard's observatory that I was making on stream. My wife is really good at sculpting. She made this for me custom. It's got like a weather vane with like a cord running down inside. And we use that as a way that we put like a switch inside, and he uses it to harness power to power his like massive telescope and other objects and tools. But like I wanted a roof that was different from what we had. So Mrs. Mac, she whipped it up for me, and then I imported it, and then it's shared on the workshop. But to that end, anyone can share, upload assets, or just keep them private for their own personal use. This supports token imports as well. So people will make tokens and import them. So I made a map as a collaboration with one of our community members named Sack, who makes and shares lots of maps and assets. And it's the Sanderson Sisters Cottage. We've done 2 collaborations on this same map, one in the past, and then we did another one when multi-level was added. So we imported the tokens to the workshop so they'd be part of the map. But yeah, you can import assets of all types and set them with different configurations, set their colliders, their sizes, all sorts of stuff. Yep. But if you have any sculpting ability whatsoever, I'm sure you could get the files into the, the type you need. I really like where we ended up here. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out today. I appreciate you also very, very much. Atlam, you shared the upcoming times, right? For the next stream. So our next stream is on Saturday, by the way, everyone. That stream is the Damn Challenge stream, which, well, it's the Damn Show featuring the Damn Challenge. Sorry for that. So the Dungeon Alchemist map making show featuring the Damn Challenge. The Damn Challenge is our bi-weekly map making contest. We host it every 2 weeks. The current theme is prison. You make a map of any shape or size using prison as inspiration, and then share that map in our Discord in the Damn Challenge channel. As long as you submit the map before the deadline, which is end of day in your time zone on the 20th, you have a chance to be entered in to win a $10 Hero Forge gift card and a bit of Dungeon Alchemist community fame. So as long as your map is qualified, if I pick your map as the winning map, it's the first map featured in that segment. It also gets the most airtime. It's featured in our weekly newsletter, the Cartomancer Chronicles, which is featured every week here, or you can read older archived editions going back, 3 years now, which are weekly newsletters featuring upcoming events, highlighting maps and assets shared on the workshop, and tips and tricks to guide you through your map making, journey. But that allows that person to get a little bit of notoriety in several spaces in our community. And they win that $10 Hero Forge gift card, which is great because we have Hero Forge integration. So you can make a token on Hero Forge, purchase it as a 3D digital mini, and then import it directly into Dungeon Alchemist. This is a great alternative if you don't know how to sculpt assets and you want like custom tokens in your maps. You can do that through a Hero Forge integration. Anyway, thank you everyone for being here today. Stream ran a little long, which I don't mind at all. Remember, if you enjoyed the stream today, can you do me a huge favor? Hit that follow button, subscribe, like, share, whatever it is on your platform, because every platform's a little bit differently. Additionally, if you are been using Dungeon Alchemist for a little bit now and enjoying it, you know, let's say you've got, 10 or so hours under your belt, you're feeling really familiar with it. If you have, used it a bit and are enjoying it, or even if you're feeling a little stale or not enjoying it, or it doesn't run on your computer, please let us know through, either our Discord and also through reviews. Our Steam reviews are a great way to, get the word out about issues that people are having, but also, positive experiences people are having with Dungeon Alchemist. Because we're a small indie company, we essentially grow from like word of mouth only. And limited advertising. So we love to get your feedback, whether it's, a forum post or something in our Discord or a review. So anyway, thank you everyone for joining us today. Again, my name is Mac, the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. Dungeon Alchemist is a map making tool that is available on Steam. We offer a free demo so you can try before you buy, give it a little test drive on your computer to make sure it runs. Keep in mind the demo is only a small slice of the overall pie. Dungeon Alchemist has, over 10 biomes, hundreds of room types, thousands of objects and supplemental tools to help you build custom maps in a lot of different environments for your tabletop gaming campaigns. Whether you're a DM for, D&D, Pathfinder, or even Starfinder, you can make maps using Dungeon Alchemist. Anyway, thank you everyone for participating in today's stream. Really appreciate you being here. We'll follow along as we built out this map a bit more. We'll be back next Monday to work on this again. We're going to run a quick Dungeon Alchemist themed ad, and then we're going to wrap up the stream. So we'll see you next time I give a damn, okay? Mac out. Bye. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you all so very, very much.
You stand before the long, dark road to the fabled realm of Goyak-Ta, and before
Who do we see?
I don't know, a goblin.
I kill him.
But before she does, I, Gilliam of Firth, demand to know the goblin's name.
Hi, my name is Woblin.
Where do you live there, Woblin?
I don't think that's relevant.
Well, but I, Gilliam of Firth, demand to seek the goblin's abode.
Clever, find family, kill entire bloodline. I like it.
Seriously, we're doing this? Okay, well, won't be needing that anymore, will I?
Ever get caught by your players with your pants down? Dungeon Alchemist lets you create wonderful maps for any encounter in seconds.
Oh, Woblin, that's a very impressive cheese collection you've got there.
Yeah, it is quite impressive, yes. But you know what's more impressive? This map I have
To the fabled realm of Goyak-Ta. Please take it and leave. Close the door behind you.
Mr. Woblin, I cannot help but notice that you have a secret tunnel underneath your cabinet. Care to explain?
Download Dungeon Alchemist, the AI-powered mapmaker, on Steam today.
Thank you everyone for being here. We'll see you next time. Mac out.